I'm curious. We saw last week 43 million people attend the funeral of Syed Ali Khamenei. How many people do you think are going to attend the funeral of Lindsey Graham? Yes, we lost a real hero today. Let me try that again. I got to say this with a straight face. We lost a real hero today. Sorry, I can't look at the camera when I say that or else I'm going to laugh. We lost we lost something today. We lost someone today who has cloaked themselves in the word human, and they have appropriated our human aesthetic. We've lost Lindsey Graham. And I can't tell you I have anything nice to say about Lindsey Graham. I really can't. You know, there were some people on social media saying, like, Jackson Hinkle, this is just despicable. Where is the decorum? Where is the decorum, Jackson? What does that even mean? These people don't even know what the words they're using. Where is the decorum? Well, he called for nuking Gaza like 50 times. You know, he said that our money is being well spent because we're killing a bunch of Russians. We're going to fight till the last Ukrainian. You know, this is not really a great guy. Not really a great guy. I don't know what we should really call him. What we did have confirmed today is that Lindsey Graham, on the evening of Saturday, July 11th, Graham passed away from a brief and sudden illness. Senator Graham's family appreciates prayers at this time and asks for privacy during this incredibly difficult period. Now, personally, I've got a lot of questions about the death of Lindsey Graham. You know, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. This guy was on video. Lindsey Graham was on video like just one day ago in Ukraine and talking about all the new drone technology and the agreements with Kiev and how they're going to kill more Russians. And he looked completely fine. He looked totally healthy for whatever, you know, healthy is for Lindsey Graham. He looked normal, I should say. I don't know if we can really call that normal for the average person, but for Lindsey Graham, he looked very normal. Right? And then all of a sudden we get this weird post that he died of a sudden illness. Not he had like a heart attack. He, you know, had a aneurysm, a seizure, something like a sudden illness. What does that even mean? And then we come to find out that Lindsey Graham was not on just some usual trip to Ukraine. Lindsey Graham, this was his last public appearance before dying. He met with Zelensky in Kiev on Friday. And he was at some drone factory. Okay, there's photos of him at this drone factory. Now, this is where we put the tinfoil hat on, okay? Yesterday, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham visits Ukraine to assure Zelensky support from the United States. The warmonger was shown a secret drone manufacturing facility in Kiev. Well, this facility no longer exists after strikes by the Russian MOD. Without warning, 6 missiles struck 2 manufacturing facilities in the Kiev region. The Russian Ministry of Defense confirmed strikes on drone sites, which started a huge fire. None of Russia's ballistic missiles were shot down. Lindsey Graham is no longer in Ukraine. Well, this is all just very weird because it became apparent about 3 days prior to this event that Ukraine had run out of their Patriot defense system missiles, air defense system missiles. So they were all out of any meaningful air defense to stop Russian ballistic missiles. And then someone gets the bright idea to send Lindsey Graham there, despite the fact that they have no air defense. And then, boom, magically, he passes on from a sudden illness. Let me just put it this way for all of you. There is a non-zero chance that Lindsey Graham was killed in a Russian airstrike. There is a non-zero. I can't say that did not happen because we frankly don't know. They've lied to us before. By the way, where's Mitch McConnell? He's still missing. Now, there's also another conspiracy rabbit hole that we could dive down if we really wanted to, that being that it was not a Russian missile strike that took out U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham. And it was actually something more nefarious and a much deeper plot, right? That being that Mossad could have possibly taken out U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham. Let's take a look at this right here. The Russian philosopher Alexander Dugin actually postured at this possibility. Frankly, I got to say, kind of could make sense. The sudden death of Lindsey Graham can be the black mark sent to Trump. I doubt it were Iranians. Most realistic, it was Mossad's job in order to push Trump to renew full-scale war with Iran. It clearly means you are the next one. Lindsey Graham was the shadow of Trump, his black self, his shadow self, you could say. And that kind of makes sense to me, right? It kind of does. You have all this talk from Netanyahu over and over and over and over again saying that, there's these, plots to unalive the president of the United States. Iran has tried, a gajillion times to unalive the president of the United States, and they just can't seem to do it. They get stopped every time. But this is somehow, a very serious thing. And Trump keeps saying that if anything happens to his safety or well-being, then he has already a plan in place to launch the mother of all missile attacks, quite possibly nuclear attacks against Iran if he is threatened in any meaningful way. So this could be a way for Netanyahu to say, like, you're next, buddy. And whether Trump understands what's happening or not, I don't know. But it is undoubtedly clear that Lindsey Graham was like very close with Trump. He was the mastermind behind a lot of these, or I shouldn't say mastermind, Lindsey Graham. We don't want to give him too much credit, right? He was the man who was lobbying Trump on a personal level for a lot of the most heinous acts that we have seen him carry out. And the reason why he has been unable to secure a peace deal with Russia, right? And the reason why we're at war with Iran and why the horrific crimes in Gaza continue, it was Lindsey Graham. So I could see that actually being part of this whole plot from Mossad and Israel to put pressure on Trump to recontinue the war in a big way. And it kind of seems like we are headed towards that, right? Like the war is escalating right now. Anyways, that's enough for the conspiracy rabbit hole. Now let's take a deeper dive into who Lindsey Graham was and the legacy that he leaves on, shall we? Lindsey Graham has passed away today under mysterious circumstances, we'll say. And all I'm left wondering is, for Lindsey Graham, a man who was so dedicated to unaliving Sayyid Ali Khamenei his whole life, destroying Iran, and he failed at the end of it all. I'm curious. We saw last week 43 million people attend the funeral of Sayyid Ali Khamenei. How many people do you think are going to attend the funeral of Lindsey Graham? And by people, I mean like not lizard people, not actual skinwalking demons. I'm talking about like real human beings. How many human beings do you think will attend the funeral of Lindsey Graham? I can tell you already, it will not be 43 million. It won't be anything above 43 million or close to 43 million. That is for certain. So if there is a bet online as to whether or not Lindsey Graham will have a larger funeral than Sayyid Ali Khamenei, do not put your money into that. That would be a waste of your money. I'm guessing maybe like real human beings that have like a soul and a brain and a heart and a spine. I'm guessing roughly zero. I'm guessing roughly zero. The mic is wrong again. No, the mic is fine. Refresh your page. Refresh your page. Tell the people in the chat to refresh and it'll be fine. I'm guessing zero. About zero. Why do I say that? Because this was Lindsey Graham's life. You know, he said stuff like this.
I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes.
A drunk Lindsey Graham says, we're killing all the right people and cutting your taxes. I feel good about what we're doing. Keep in mind, this was like, you know, this is as the Gaza genocide is going on. They bombed 160 schoolgirls, and he said, we're killing the right people and cutting your taxes. Cutting whose taxes, by the way? Cutting the taxes of the Palantir executives who are killing those babies? Yeah, not killing the working class, not cutting the working class's taxes, okay? He also, on numerous occasions, advocated for dropping nuclear bombs on Gaza.
So when we were faced with destruction as a nation after Pearl Harbor, fighting the Germans and the Japanese, we decided to end the war by bombing Hiroshima and Nagasaki with nuclear weapons. That was the right decision. Give Israel the bombs they need to end the war they can't afford to lose, and work with them to minimize casualties. Well, can I say this? Why is it okay for America to drop 2 nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end their existential threat war? Why was it okay for us to do that? I thought it was okay. To Israel, do whatever you have to do to survive as a Jewish state.
You know, I said in the last clip that he was drunk while speaking in front of the Republican National Jewish Congress, but frankly, there's not much difference between a sober or intoxicated Lindsey Graham. He sounds all the same. He sounds just as ludicrous and bloodthirsty and genocidal. If you thought that was all, though, it wasn't. At the start of U.S. aggression against Iran, he had this to say.
Iran's going to have a choice in 2 to 3 weeks. You either do a deal where you get out of the business you're in, or we're going to blow your stuff up that will allow you to function as a nation.
2 to 3 weeks. Senator, don't make promises you cannot keep. We're far beyond the 2 to 3 weeks window that you set for the fall of the Islamic Republic of Iran. But Mojtaba Khamenei is here. The Iranian National Security Council remains. The revolution in Iran is stronger than ever before. I saw with my own 2 eyes this week. And where are you? Where are you? Somewhere deep down with Ronald Reagan. That's where you are.
That is your choice.
Well, let me ask this, because, by the way, I don't even think they have 2 or 3 weeks, Senator. That's 2 or 3 weeks when their infrastructure would be blown up. That's their electric grid. That is their ability to have any income. The lifeblood of their entire economy is oil. So that would no longer exist.
These are the thought leaders in the United States, folks. I want you to understand how brain dead these people are. The thought leaders on the most prestigious of mainstream media in the United States thought that Iran would last 2 to 3 weeks at best, but probably not even that. Probably not even that. And here they are, dog walking Trump. Here they are, standing tall, while Lindsey Graham goes to whatever pit he fell into. 2 to 3 weeks.
With Israel, I will be.
Oh, this is my favorite. I'm with Israel. I'm with Israel. You know, forget it. I'm with Israel. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel until my dying day. Screw those people in South Carolina. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel until my dying day.
All the anti-Semites to all the isolation.
All the anti-Semites.
I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for. So we have a commander-in-chief in President Trump, who I think is Ronald Reagan plus. All the anti-Semites to all the
The gates of heaven were not open for this one. That's for sure. You know, it just goes on and on. And oh, yes, of course. The funniest part about all of this is, like, you know, Lindsey Graham thought he was Trump's, like, best friend. And Trump comes out and he's like, you know, I think one of the reasons why we don't have peace in Ukraine is because of Lindsey Graham. He really wanted that war to continue on for a long time. And then, so Trump is, like, dissing him as his body is still warm, right? Well, it's probably a lot warmer now, let's be honest. But his body has not even gotten cold yet. He's still, you know, they haven't put him in the ground yet. And Trump is, like, dissing him moments after his death was announced. And like, Benjamin Netanyahu is the first person who comes out and he says, he affects this southern accent a little bit, and he's like, well, he was just a good South Carolina boy. He's put on his Kevin Spacey House of Cards.
He was such an American patriot. He was unabashedly for America, and he was unabashedly against the enemies of America. And he spoke what he thought. You know, I had a way with him. He had this charming southern drawl, and you knew something was coming when he would say, well, I'm just a poor old southern boy. And then you know he's coming in with the most penetrating insight that
penetrating is not the word I would want to use in a sentence to eulogize Lindsey Graham. I mean, it just gives everyone extremely unsettling and frankly disgusting images in their head. But continue on.
Few people can deny, and that everybody recognizes is the truth. He had a way with him. He was a wonderful, wonderful friend, a great American patriot, and a great champion of the Israel-American alliance, and I'll miss him personally a lot. I really thought the world of him, and I think the world has lost a great human being. America has lost a great senator, and we have lost a great friend. He was.
That's one way of putting it. Look, if you really, I'm not even going to say this. I don't even want to get into this, but if you really want to understand how disgusting of a human being Lindsey Graham is, look up on Twitter or TikTok. I'm sure you can find it anywhere. Look up Lindsey Graham ladybugs. I warned you. Just let me, I'm telling you all, I warned you. Lindsey Graham ladybugs. And I'm just giving you fair warning, you guys. Giving you fair warning. Sometimes it's just, in moments like these, it's hard to really understand what the most disgusting thing about a person in their life was. But, you know, you'll have to draw that conclusion yourself after reading that. Lindsey Graham ladybugs. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.